Hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our December Git Series sessions organized by Azure Dev Community, Tumkur, and we have focused on ending the year with giving a brief intro to Git, what version control systems are basically used for in companies as well as for individual projects run by students. So here today we have with ourselves Azure Dev Community Bangalore's organizer and lead Vishwas Narayan. He will be taking the session for you on GitHub, which is most commonly used version control system from college degree students till organization startups. So to understand what we use pull, merge, push commands in, we are gonna see a demonstration today live from Vishwas on a demo project. So over to Vishwas.
So, hey folks, thank you so much for attending this session, and also thank you, Namratha, for giving me the stage and also organizing such great event. It's always there. She always takes in good amount of effort in organizing the event. So she's not like me. She's like, people come, people don't come, people don't come. Like that's what I am like. Seriously. So she takes good amount of effort and appreciate that, and you are the best person that can organize also. Like she takes good amount of efforts for all the things, so appreciate that, by the way. So a brief introduction about our community, so let's just do that. An honor for all the things that we are doing, and it's all about like we have been learning a lot regarding GitHub and things like that. We don't focus on Azure itself. We focus a lot towards open source as well. Like we also think that okay, it's an overall development that we think for the professional world, so let's just focus on everything that is feasible to be done. And over a course of time this community has evolved, and 11,000 plus folks joining us from all different places, and 100 plus cities in India. I think probably we have international audiences as well. So we might find some people who are following us as well. So we have around 1.7 Ks plus subs. There's a lot of people who are just joining in, and a lot of people coming up, and all the upcoming sessions are here. And you guys can really reach out to any one of us. Like, just make a note of all these. Just click on the join. You'll be joining in. Also, subscribe to all our newsletters and everything. Like we don't spam you, we just notify you the events and things like that. If you're okay with that, just do that. And also there's already always a Bing API which is always acting here and saying okay, this is where the locations are. Partnering communities are pretty awesome. I think there's an dev student community which was run by Karthike. It's open core right now if I'm not wrong, because I saw it very late. And also like yesterday and today morning we had one session and a lot of things. Like we are actually starting off with this .NET hustle from Jayashri. Jayashri is the HOD of the .NET series here, and she's actually taking in huge and immense pressure in order to just do a lot of events. But yeah, she's actually doing pretty great amount of events here. And also we are here open for you guys. So community organizers are always there. So just hop in and reach out to us. Like Shubhendra is the best person to reach out to. I think Namratha is the best to reach out to. And I think I'm here somewhere. Yeah, I'm here. We'll see everybody. Just reach out to us if you have anything to speak on out, if you want any guidance, but be with a purpose, by the way. And a lot of speaker bureau. What you can do is you can join us as organizers, sign up as a speaker. It's there in the beginning here, so it's always there. So do hop in. And also an appreciation to all the supporters of this community. And that's it, folks. So let's just move on with the session now. So I'll be sharing my entire screen now. So yeah, perfect. So this is what I call a GitHub. Like my GitHub is not that great, but okay, manageable. But I just wanted to show you what are all the components which are there on the web of a GitHub. Like that is what I need you to know. This is a Git compliant version control tool, which is actually from a lot. And also there is an Bitbucket, Hasna, there is this, that, lot of version control tools, lot of organizations adapt to all different things. Like something like if you type in something called as TensorFlow. It has a different strategy for the open source projects which are actually going there, and leave that. PyTorch as a different CI/CD. Here we are using Circle CI. Azure pipelines are already there. Still YAML files, as Vivek sir always says, YAML is the new code. Like it's the language of DevOps, like YAML and JSON. Somebody asked me which programming language should I learn. It's YAML and JSON. Like they run the world today. Like you can adapt to .NET in a very short time. You can adapt to Python in a very short time. Like it's just semantics that's just changing, but everything still remains the same. So if you see here, it's completely GitHub Actions. Like it's a bigger organization having probably a lot of forks and a lot of contributors and used by a lot of people. Like this is what they use, but there are plenty more people who are using it. And just look at the scale at which it's being there. And there is no package here, and there is always a release which is always there. So this release is a very very important thing. Like I'll show you in one of my repository where I just started a new release. Like if you just click on the release, and there are already 151 releases. Like you can think of like every version which is already there, and how it's going inside all the different packaging and everything, how it's happening, it's all there for you guys. So you can get to know, okay, who did this release wala stuff, and what code was committed for this entire release which happened. Like something like, okay, they get contributions from millions of people over a course of time. So now how do you scale it up for that version? Like you can't release millions of version at one given point, right? It can't be like 2.6.1.0000009 or something. Like it's too much, by the way. So it's always there. So this is how your organization also needs to adapt. Like something like, okay, what should be our GitHub strategy? What if we hire more than 100K people for one product to be delivered? Like let me just say you are building a mega structure of something like, okay, there's a data lake which is going out there. So there is a data lake which has good amount of data. Now we are supposed to version it, this, that. There is a version control which is happening there. So these are some of the like higher level overview of all the things. Like it has issues, good first issues, and also there is a lot. There's complementary stuff which are always there, and you can also see how many pull requests have already come. So if you think of this, it was at one of the pull requests was actually raised 2 days ago. I think Kanvi something, Kanvi Khanna something. Somebody else actually done that and things like that. So there is always a way in which you can contribute to this entire thing. Like you can have hundreds of comments, and you can actually say, okay, I've solved this, and things like that, and everything starts working, right? This is what PR is all about. The pull request is this, and pull request, Git pull is there. Git pull command is something which is like, okay, how do I update my entire repository if I've changed something somewhere down the line? Like let's say here Namratha is there, who and all. So GitHub Actions is there. I think if you want, go to Vivek sir's channel, just find out what is happening, and everything is there. Like his channel has everything about as GitHub Actions, this, that, so on. So let me just go back to my repository. So my repository has a C# learning repo. Like I just did last week. I just did a session there. So 7 days ago, I had some changes done. I just updated it here. So Git Push -u is the upstream version. Origin was created and things like that. So I'll show you how this Flutter thing works. So I just built a Flutter app, which was a basic hello world. Like I don't know. I have to just see what I said. So there is a white source thing which is already there. So it's one of the ways in which you can secure the code. Look at what's the code bases which have already been done. So there's already there. So if you look at the actions that I've already conducted, so this was actually done many times, and build and release is actually happening. So just imagine at the scale which is happening, it's like 28 minutes, 21 seconds is what it took for compiling. And now if you go back to the releases which I have, there's already an APK file which is already created. So these are my assets and things. So this will be an artifact to me, and everything will be sorted for me afterwards. And It's very simple. The GitHub Actions is what I've done. So something like if I push something to the main, and there is always a pull request which is raised, what should be the release action that is going to be? So it is something like if somebody has a pull request done for you, and how is it going to be tested? Like something like I'll just share it to Namratha, and Namratha, I think you can just do an change here. I'll just push it to something like just comment on something like that will be some like comment on something that we have pull request raised here. Like she has to fork it first, then
Hello. Hello, Vishwas. We are facing some internet issues from the Vishwas end. So we'll just take a five until he comes back online. Okay, welcome back, Vishwas. Uh,
yeah, sorry folks, I was very bad with that. Voice breaking a lot. Sorry for that. I think did you do a pull request, Namrata? Alright, if she has done it, let's just refresh this and see. If she has done it, it will be showing up here. And yes, I think so. She might have done it. She has not done it. It's very easy. Like something like okay, I can just show you right now itself. So it's something as a web here. So what I'll do is I'll add a new file. Don't worry about that. You can do that as well. So let me just say readme.md. Readme.md. So that's Tarun sir. Oh, sorry, sir. I had a little bit of internet issue here. So yeah. So created readme.md. Everything is automated here. And if you see the new pull request that I've done, no, actually the commit that I've done, it's actually showing it's now we have done some commits here. And if you see there is already a tag which is already there. Even if I do that, also the actions will start running. That this is how it is. So that is how your data is all about. And if you think of something like that, okay, I think so there is already an readme.md which is added. So the action has already started. So if you think of that, action has already started and it's now triggered. So it's actually a world-class CI/CD tool that we are talking here. Like it's an open source version. Like if you go private, every user has to pay a $4 credit, but now it's very easy. And I think Reactor app is something which I've used very long time. Like it has it has actions for everything. Like I don't have the credentials now for the ACR, but all the things I want to run it on a Linux container environment, so it's already there. And also tagger deployments, like I can show you how to tagger deployment happen. Like I've done so many commits even before that, but none of it has run. But now let me just show you how the releases happen. So create a new release. What I can do is I can put a tag which is version 1.0. Okay, I can do something like version 1.1, 2.1, like something like, okay, let me just say I've just created a new one, created a new tag, and it goes to the main only. So now if you see, Now I have the source code, everything sorted. If I go for this, the tag deployment started running until now. Like I've done so many commits over a course of time and nothing has worked, but now it started working. So I just wrote this demo for a while. And even if you see, I've done so many iterations of demos. Like last commit happened 5 days before. Like even within the 5 days, 10 days, I've done so many demos here. So everything is there. So it's all that. It's so we are just talking about a higher level overview of how an open source project can be automated. So this is what your Git and GitHub is all about. So let's just go on with the projects and things like that. But before that, I would say if you would always go back to all the documentation which it's giving here, that would be awesome. So let's just do a GitHub Vishwas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I do that, so that's my GitHub repository name. So if you can click on that, it will be there. And let me just show you how the things are working here. So I have a new file here. So I just want to copy this. Now what I do is I go to the terminal and that's there. So I'll do mkdir new 1, 2, 3 something because I just have that cd new 2, 3. And if I do git clone, the magic of this command is that it helps you in cloning that repository if you have installed the Git. So Git installation is very easy. So just go to the Git install. So download Git SCM. So source code management wala stuff is always there. So source code management is also a bigger issue. So I'll be showing how this is working because it's always that network attached storage that you're interacting with and you're just getting all the commands up and running. So you have a git clone and now it's going on with it. So now I do git status and it says me that okay, all these are the new stuff which is already added. Like to this repository there is already a git init which was already added. So if I do something called as git add dot, because there is already a cached version of all the things, right? So there is always a reactor file and everything. So cd, if I do reactor file, if I do git status, it will say your branch is up to date and has origin and the main because I've not edited anything from past many days. So now it's very simple to me. I can also go create a new file. Let me just say readme2.md. Like, let's just create it and I'll show you how the pull, Git pull actually works here. So if you know that now I just committed something, there is a new readme.to added. Now if I do git status, it will say for the local repository, you don't have anything. But let me just do code because I want to edit some code here and I just want to say, okay, this has been changed, that has been changed. So let me just say, I think I had some thing changed in the index.html. So let me just go and change something here. Like, let me just go change something here. Don't worry, all these languages and everything will come into your hand very easily. But like, it's all about that at the end of the day. Like, how do you manage all the things that you are running? Search YouTube
So I
online.
have a question. It's a question here, Vishwas. So
Yeah.
since we are using GitHub as our project tracking version system control platform here, so say if there hasn't been any update, but the update is only made on our documentation side. So will that be also able to change the version next version name for the project?
Yeah, you can really change that.
The,
Like it also depends on how much of updation happened, right? Like I can show you something like okay, like if I just go to the tags here, if I just show you, okay, all the tags which I am running, so it has all the source code because
hmm,
now I just built it in such a way that source code is there. So now you can actually
hmm,
do the documentation updation here also. Like what you can do is you can have an YAML file written in such a way that if you have some changes done on some readme.md, convert that to
hmm,
HTML and reflect that onto a documentation page. That's also possible.
hmm,
But when you talk of versioning, it has to be a massive change. Something like okay, million
hmm.
lines of code has been changed here, and there is new set of features added. I think that's where the releases come into the picture. I just showed that demo
Yes.
because because when you go to a startup, like they do deploys on like probably one or two deploys a day. Like they will be having their artifact version.
Yeah.
Artifacts ka
Yeah. Of
matlab, it's
course.
always a package that your code has been, like some people say they are .NET developers, so they have DLL exe file. Some people are
Mm-hmm.
Python developers. Python is basically you export it as wheel file because some clients has that. But when you think of something like Flutter application or the Dart application which I showed here, uh, Dart, Flutter, or still remains the same. So they have their own way, right? So you can deploy it on iOS, Android, Windows, like web, anywhere you can deploy it, right? So there is a different way of packaging it. So like all the things are supposed to be version packaged, and there is always a comment which is always added. Like we are not showing you how to do proper commenting and things like that, right? Because we are want to go from the basics. So I just showed that so that like everything will be sorted. Like branching strategies are yet to be shown. Like here I've made 4 branches. If you see all the four branches have a different set of code here. Like there is no readme2.md. There are many codes missing here. Like this commit was done 3 months ago, something like that. So everything will be known. So that's what it is. That's what I'll be talking about. So in a bigger organization, of course, like releases and all, you need to have a massive change in your application. So that's what it requires. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even last time I just made the code here on the web, like something like I have just changed the commit. So if
Hmm.
you when I did git status, there is already index.html which is
What?
actually being reflected.
Mhm. Okay, so
So
what about the beginners who are looking to start here? Say they have done some mini projects or semester-based projects in their
hmm,
students, or someone as a freelance and trying to get into programming and tech by
hmm,
themselves through their interest, and they know
yeah.
how to do uploading the project and documenting via Readme and all. How can one use that to make sure they build a proper network among themselves, or use it for their interview or placements? How can they leverage GitHub?
So since this was a web thing, like there is an index.html and structure like that. Like if you know how the Firebase works, like something like Firebase also can be deployed and things like that. So
Hmm.
every web project has its index.html, index.js, index.css, but all the web-based applications look back at the index.html itself. Like if you go to azdev.community, if you do
Hmm.
index.html, it goes back to this website only, right? It's always that index.html which is like a golden standard for everything. So now that's there. So what
So we
next?
can use. Hmm.
You can use it,
So we
use the
can use
pages option here, which is
yeah we
like you can go to the
Git
settings.
pages.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can go to the pages
So
here, and you can actually do that. You
so
can actually
here
have to.
normally someone will, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Normally, someone will have two questions here. Is Git pages limited to a user's account, or is it unlimited, or it depends on the repository? Per repository, one Git page, or is it like one user account of a GitHub will have one or two Git page allowed for him to use for free?
It's like git pages. If you are making that public, like GitHub is basically public. Like if you have made all things public
Hmm.
here, everything is sorted. Like
Hmm.
something like you can have something as a repository named which was 1234567 again. It should be something like which was one two
Hmm.
three four five six seven slash which was 1234567. So if you create that, you will only get this entire domain for free. Like you can just do that. So that will be your entire name here. So when you add some sort of a slash or something, it will say that okay, this has index.html. If I click on that, it will show me that this was the website that I did last time, right? Like I did for a Christ University last time using the same repository. I just changed some things. So this is how you can leverage the project. So I'll come to that as well. So there is something called as webbooks here. There's something called as branches here. Like you can also give the branches their own function, like how are they working? What are they actually required? Like how many reviews need to be happening? All things. Like what I'm saying is you actually learn DevOps when you know this, like complete DevOps. Like this is like the golden standard for all your DevOps life cycle. Like semantics change there. Like if you go for something like Azure DevOps particularly, is there complete SaaS application? Of course, GitHub is also an amazing SaaS application which is already there, but it's Git compliant. Of course, Azure DevOps is also Git compliant, but there are agent pools out there. The agent pools will be Azure managed, user managed, a lot of things. So when you come to GitHub, I think probably if you are an open source hustler and if you want to deploy all the, if you want to put everything at scale, I think GitHub is an amazing place to start with. Like you can actually document all the things, like something like you have an index.html which is already being created through some GitHub actions. You can actually make sure that it gets reflected onto this repository that you're talking about. So everything is sorted. So this can act as a documentation page for you. Everything is perfect here for you guys to work on. So yeah, let's just go on with that status wala stuff. So if you have any doubts, just keep asking me, Namratha. Don't worry about that. So if you do git add here, it's added. So now if I do git status, it should show me green, not red, green. And now if I go back here and see what has been my commit status, it's already being done. So now if I try to, it's not done. It's still in the local repository here. But yet, if I now try to do git remote -v origin, remote -v, it's saying that, okay, there is a remote version of that GitHub repository which is added, which is nothing but a network attached storage that you are configuring right now here. It's something like, I'll say you how it is. So I should open my, this one here. So this is the perfect. So Git and the GitHub is what I've added right now. So I think my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
So now you have a Git which is configured. I'll show you how to configure that also, don't worry. So Git configured on local system. So now all commits are affected in your local system. So this configuration information is going to have, I'll show you how. If you just do something called as Git Init, there's always something called as attrib +h. Like if you dir minus, I think so, plus -h. It's like, there is always that. So if I do dir, there is already some set of hidden files which are already there. So there's .github, everything.
I think okay.
So it's the yeah.
It's a path for the local directory, you are saying.
Yeah, it's a path for the local directory, but yet it has all the commit status which is already there. So if I do git status, it says that, okay, there is already a modified version which has been added, and this has been added. So git branches,
we are unable to see that screen actually. Can you check?
This one, you're talking about this one? The white screen?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually showing it here only. So if you can see, I'm writing something, right? So git minus version. If you do that, right, you will also get to know, okay, this is what the repository wants, or having that git version and things like that. But all the gits have the same way. So let me just show you how. So that configured information has a NAS. So this is a network attached storage. So this is what your GitHub is all about. So this GitHub is something as a repository, which is something as a database for all your codes. If you think of the way which have committed, right? If you think of the history, it's like 123 commits have happened from very long time. Who did it? What was the status of it? At what branch all these changes happened? Everything is here, and they'll have their own hashes, which will be unique for that repository. None of the hashes repeat here, and that hashes is always there. So now that's the power of GitHub here. So that network attached storage is going to have all the applications, all the set of snapshots of the code which is already there. So now this is what we want. So now this is there in a local system. How can I get it to the GitHub repository? So it uses that configuration information and it says, okay, GitHub from, if I can say it's actually from local system. So this is what your NAS is applicable here. So this is where your Git plays a humongous role. It's taking care of that backend of all the hashing, all the set of changes which has happened. It's taking the snapshot of it, and it's always there. Like this concept came from the Linus Torvald, the guy who invented Linux, who got like millions of contributors, and that was very hectic. Like he had to make a code of all the things. Like everybody has their own changes, and everybody has their style checkers. I think probably that's what I think. Probably she's working actually. Namratha is actually working in industry from past 1 year. I think she knows how the style checkers is all about. So everybody has their own way, right? So he was so
Yes.
pissed off about it, and now he came up with like, how can I version this? So let's say version 1.1. So version 1.2, how is it all about when we are versioning the code? So just take a snapshot of the code, and it's very easy, right? When you get to know, okay, this is what was changed in this commit. Okay, they changed from references to library files here. So this was being added, and if I show some of the commits which actually happened here, I think update my main.yaml. I think this is what. So this was the change which happened here, and this was the new change which was committed to it. So this is what you say, right? So this is how the Git is actually doing all the backend stuff there. So it's always there. So if you just do the Git init, it will give you all the folders. Everything will be already added. So now let me just do the Git push. So I think I just need to just do Git push because it's a clone repository. So now, oh, Git push. Okay, good. Push minus u origin main, because I didn't do any branching and things like that. Oh, so rejected due to updates were there. Oh, since I actually did one update before this commit also, so there is a thing here. So I can do dir and zero files, and that's fine. So if I do git pull, it will now show me there was an addition of readme.2 file, which I did before this actually. So now this didn't take that. So this is the magic of Git. So there is a network attached storage which is always interacting with each other, and this is how organization with hundreds of people control their code which is happening. So if I do git push minus, I can just do git push, just go on. So everything is up to date now. So if I look at what happened here, I think there is already a commit which is git push minus git status. If I do, okay, I'll just do the git status. So that's fine. Git push minus u origin main. So everything is up to date. All the branches have been created. If I do the refresh, there's already an addition of all the different files which was already happening. Oh, sorry for that. Last month, I just now edited index.html. What was it all about? So yeah, wait. Oh, and also best part about it is it has Git pod. Just you have to click on dot, like the full stop button, and you will go on to that. Also, very simple trick. Instead of doing .com, there's something called as, in the place of .com, just do .dev, and everything is sorted for you. Like everything is taken care for you, and you get a code repository on the other side, and you can do all the things. So it's always there. So if you just do the Git
Vishwas, there is a bit of voice break from your end.
no, that's there, man. It's all
So we are having some disturbance with which was being joined in the current weather of raining in Bangalore. Just we'll take a 5 until he rejoins back, and we'll continue with the session and the QA session. Sorry, folks. Due to and network and incident issues with Vishwas current system, we are unable to have the continuation of the session. Uh, So we will be stop our session right now for on GitHub series. Anything, any doubts you have, our descriptions and our social media LinkedIn profile has been added in the YouTube chat session. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. We will be happy to help, and we are really sorry on our front for having an unexpected weather related condition to the place where our speaker is currently staying at.